Yeah, hello everyone. So in today class, we are going to see some administration part of Informatica MDM Hub, like how we can do the administration work, like how we can create users, how we can create roles, how we can map users and roles. And apart from that, we are going to see how we can create ORS and how we can map that ORS within this MDM Hub. So basically today we will see this database section, users, security providers, tool access, repository manager, enterprise manager, and roles and user groups. So these all are a kind of administrative tasks. So as we know that these all the things we can do from this single window itself. So today first we will start with database. Okay. So once we do installation of Informatica MDM Hub, then we do create database so that we can do our development and other things. Okay, so let me recap the previous things which we had covered earlier in the first class, I think. So yeah, so here we have two main database. One will be called master database in Informatica, that is called CMX system. Okay, so this name we cannot change. So this will be called the master data, and this name we cannot change, and it will hold all metadata information of Informatica MDM. Okay. So whatever configuration change or kind of high level Informatica MDM related things will do, that all things will stored in this CMX system. So suppose you are creating a user, or suppose you are creating a database, and we are changing some configuration which can impact the entire users and entire application. So those all details can only be handled through the CMX system. We will see that once we will try to do that, then it will ask us to connect to master database. Okay. So this is one database which is mandatory to have. Apart from that, other database is not mandatory. You can complete your installation with the help of that. Other database, we need to do our kind of work. So we can have kind of training database or development database or QA database for the different environment, so that we can create as per our choice. And there is a resource kit. That means this kit is basically available for some sample project, so that we will see in the last class. So we'll see how we can use this. So today we are going to actually this one CMX system is already kind of configured, because that configuration needs to be done at the time of installation itself. But these things we can create by ourselves. Like we will try to create some dev ORS and some QA ORS, so that we can also see how we can do migrate objects between dev to QA. So we are going to see the migration part also, like how we used to deploy the things. Okay. So now we can come to today class, like how we can create those other things, those ORS. Okay. So let's create two ORS, that is called dev ORS and QA ORS. Okay. So how to create ORS? So let's create two ORS. Create two ORS. We can create a number of ORS as per our requirement. So I'm creating one dev ORS for development work. Suppose in the actual project, we need to configure the different environment, right? So we are configuring kind of dev and QA environment, and same like that you can create prod ORS also. So you can create this all environment on the single installation or single server also. And if you want, you can have the separate servers, and you can do the installation, and you can create the respective ORS. So it depends on our kind of requirement. Okay. Like in a small project, we used to do create different repository for QA development production on the same server, right? But in the bigger project, because it cannot handle the load, and for security purpose, we will always try to keep production and QA on the separate server apart from development, right? So for here for POC, we can create all these things on the same server for understanding. So question is how to create this ORS. Okay. So for creating the ORS, actually you guys will not have access that needs admin access, and just you can see the steps. Maybe if these are needed for you to do kind of admin work in your project, then you can do that. So for that, we need to come to this directory, MDM Hub installation directory, the database, then bin. Okay. And here our directory is this cmdm bin. Okay. So we can open the command prompt. open a new window. Okay, I have opened the command prompt here, and just I can do cd to go to that location. So we are at bin, and this I can show you that location from here. So this location will be in C drive MDM 2023 info MDM bin. This is the location. Okay, so here we have one important batch file that is called zip underscore ant. So this is basically the window installation. So we will have the batch file, and we will in the Linux environment we will have the respective Linux file. Okay, so what we need to do, how to create that? So first we have to come to this location. We have already come here. You can see open command and go to this. Okay, let's remove this which can cause the kind of conflict. So better you can come to this location. And for CMX system, what need to do? See, for CMX system, we need to call this zip underscore on.bat. And for CMX system, we need to pass this create system. Okay. And then after creating, we need to pass import system. So that part I have already done, but okay, this we will understand more better. Let's try to create other ORS. So here, see, apart from CMX system, if you want try to create other ORS, so again, we need to call zip underscore bat. Okay. Zip underscore bat we need to call, and we need to pass create ORS. So this create ORS is for any other ORS apart from create system. In system, you need to pass create system. Here we need to pass create ORS. That is the one difference have. Okay. So in interview, usually they ask like how you can create the ORS. So just you can say we need to go to this location zip underscore on.bat location, and then you need to pass this call this zip underscore file, and then we need to pass create under ORS for creating the other ORS, and for master ORS we need to pass the create underscore system. Okay. So let's see that. So let me copy this, and here I can just pass it. Okay. So once we will pass, then press OK. Then it will gather some detail by itself, and here it is asking details which needs to be given so that it can create ORS. So here it is asking enter database type. So database type, it actually currently kind of supporting Oracle, MS SQL Server, DB2 and Sybase. Okay. So here by default, here you can see out of these three options, in this bracket, it is saying, do you want to take this default option Oracle? So if you want to take default option, then you no need to pass anything. Okay, just you press enter. So here, if you will press enter, by default, it will take this value, the value which will be in this bracket. Okay. And if you want to pass other than this bracket like MS SQL or DB2, then you have to type accordingly. But for Oracle, since it is saying that if you press enter, then Oracle will be taken as default. Okay. So this installation we have done on Oracle. So just I am pressing enter. I'm not typing, because if I press enter, then by default that Oracle will be taken. Okay. So just I press enter. Here it is asking enter Oracle connection details. Okay. So for connection details, I can open the properties here so that we can recap. So here we will have properties of Oracle. So username this. Acha, before that, we are doing one mistake. Okay. So before that, we have to first create the user. Okay. Before that, we have to create user, and then that user, because that user will be required here. Okay. Once you will go to further step, then it will ask for user. Let's try to go to further step. So here it is asking inter Oracle connection type. Okay. So here we can give service, and here the what is the database host name is a local host, because we have installed on local host. Just I'm pressing enter, and port name is 1521 by default, and this service name by default it is saying ORCL. I had taken ORCL in installation, so the all default option I am taking. TNS name also ORCL, and here it is asking, do you want to change the connection URL? No, I don't want to change, because I have already given the details above. So on the basis of that, it will take. Now it is asking, see, enter the operational reference as to DB username. Okay. Now we have to give the username. Okay. So here by default it is saying, do you want to take CMX underscore ORS? So by default for doing some work, it will create CMX underscore ORS. So it will not create, we have to create. But if you you don't want to give this name, then we can give other name like dev underscore ORS, or we can give any name of this ORS. This is our user defined ORS. Okay. So first we have to create one user in database so that that user we can use here. Okay. For that, let me open one more command prompt so that we can create the user which can be used for that ORS. So here MySQL no-log MySQL is not recognized by MySQL. Okay, so let's try to create user from here, from this database administration console. Here, how we can create the user, where we have the option connections, new. So for creating user, we need to have a sys connection, right? Let me create one more connection with user sys. Here I am giving system as a system will be, as we know, that by default super user. Let me see that if it is working or not. Okay, so this system is working, so I can save it and we can connect to this system database, and from here we can create the users. So do we have users here?
On bottom.
Yeah, other users, right? This one, yeah, create user. So here let's create user like dev underscore ORS, because this user we will give while creating the ORS, and I'm taking the password as same for simplicity so that we can remember it. Password expired, account is locked. Okay, so this user we have created.
And grant role.
Yeah, let's keep this table space, CMX data table space, and temp one, this one we have given. Okay, now we can go to grant role for giving the role, for giving the kind of access. So let's give all the access by default. So default all, and this admin all also admin all. Okay, so we want to give admin all, or is not required. It required DBA kind of privilege. Okay, so if it will have the DBA, then it can easily do the work. So this is for granting the general access, this is for admin access, and this is for default all. Okay, so let's give all the access. If you will have any issue with the access, then we will get some error. And here we have the system privilege. So let's give all the system privilege so that it can do all the work. Codes. So here already we have defined CMX data and CMX index. CMX data, CMX index, CMX temp already we have defined. And in SQL, we are getting create user, username identified by a password, default this, and alter user this, quota unlimited on this. See, grant DBA to this. This one will be enough for this option, grant DBA to this user. Okay. So let's give all the available options so that we will not get any error. So I'm just trying to apply what error we are getting. Fail to proceed SQL command this, grant sys DBA to dev with admin option. Insufficient privilege. Okay.
Admin option we cannot give for the other normal user.
Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's first create a user. Let me revoke
Yes.
this all the option. Revoke all. This one we can keep. And let's first create the user. Then we can run some equal to. Why it is coming identified by ORS. Oh, this one.
You can give the role identified by the password also and grant
This one should run, right? If I want to just create the user, let me take this script from here.
Yeah, grant role to DBA.
Why this is failing?
Abhishek, can you fire the query? Grant role to DBA, that's all, to a username.
No, just I'm trying to create user first.
Okay.
So this user is created by default or what?
Yes.
Acha.
Yes,
Looks like this user already got created. Now let's check that. Dev underscore ORS. No, the user is already created. Okay. Now we can write permission grant DBA to dev underscore ORS. Will it work? Grant DBA to this. Let's try to. grant
Yes.
succeeded. Okay, so we have given DBA role. Okay, so I think we have created user and we have given DBA role. So this user is ready to be used. Let's try here. So here we have to, we are not taking CMX ORS user, we are giving our own username. So we are giving dev_ORS. Okay, let's pass this. Then this is asking password. So password was also same. So dev_ORS. Okay. Now by default English US character we can take and enter the DBA username. I'm taking a system SYSTEM system. By default it will take sys also. Sys also kind of system defined user. And password we need to give here system. Table aspects. So index table aspects we can take default, temporary is default, and this all is default option. Okay. So I have pressed enter. Let's see. About to drop and create dev_ORS. Okay. So now it is actually setting up, doing all the configuration for creating the dev_ORS. So here we can see build successful and this all has been done. So now let's come here and now let's try to create connection for dev_ORS. Okay. So already we have training. Let's open the properties of this and let's rename this dev_ORS and this all is same. Now we can test it. So succeeded and now we can save the connection. Now we can connect. So if you will expand this dev_ORS and if you see the tables, see we don't have anything in table. Okay, if you refresh it. And I think we don't have anything in views. Okay, so that means we have created this user and we have created the ORS also, but there is no content inside this ORS. Okay, so this ORS we cannot use in MDM Hub because MDM Hub can only understand that those ORS who can have the details about MDM Hub. Details means who can have the metadata of MDM Hub so that it can communicate to each other, right? So we have to bring all the metadata table here. Okay, so how we can bring? So for that, we can come here. So yeah, so here before doing that, open command prompt for CMX system team. Before that, need to create user, need to create respective users in database and need to give DBA privilege, DBA access. Okay, like what we did, create username dev_ORS identified by dev_ORS. So this will be our password. Okay, so this will be one command for creating user. Second, what we can do, grant DBA to dev_ORS. Okay, so these two steps we have to do first, whatever user we want to use. So we created the user, we given the DBA privilege, then we'll open the command prompt and then we will start this thing for CMX system or for CMX ORS. Okay, so this first step we have created. That means first step we have done. Now the second step, to import the initial metadata, run the following command, right? So we don't have any objects here. So to bring all the object metadata tables here, we need to run this command. Sip_run, that will be same, but here we need to run import_ORS. Okay, so just we can copy and we can run the same command here. And we have to make sure we are at the same location. Okay, so sip_run and import ORS just to importing the metadata. Okay, press enter and it will again ask all the same details like which ORS or user you want to use for importing those all the details. So mostly it will ask all the details same. Oracle service, just press enter so that it can take the default value because I have taken all the default value for simplicity. And here what is that? Connect URL. Why it is asking connect URL? Okay, by default we can take this one. And here again username we have to pass dev_ORS. Dev_ORS. Password is same dev_ORS. English character, and by default you can take this kind of timeline of granularity to maintain the data. So now it is trying to import all the metadata. So we'll see lots of this metadata table will be created within that ORS. Okay, so it will take some time. It is creating and importing all the required metadata tables like C repos source system, C repos user, C repos CMA, C repos means there will be C repos starting of tables, and it will have the metadata tables for all the actions and for all the objects. C repos mapping. So this will be one-time activity which needs to be done after the installation, so that it can set up the environment properly. So once we will get error, then we'll see the error. If everything will be fine, then here we can see build successful, a script finish. Okay. Now let's try to come in database and let's try to see, do we have any objects here or not? See, now we have this all table got imported. Okay, within this C repair, C repos, whatever table is needed. So this all table we got. We will get some object in view also. So in view also we got some object. Okay. So whatever objects are metadata tables needed, those all got imported. So now this user, this schema is ready to connect with MDM Hub. Okay. So now we have completed this step. We have done this also. Now need to register this ORS in MDM Hub console. Okay. So that we can work on that. We don't have that here. If you click, we don't have this dev ORS here, right? So how it can reflect here? For that we need to register it here. Okay. So for that, what you need to do, you need to come MDM Hub console, then database. So where is database? So here is the database. Okay, here is database. So if you are clicking on this database, then it's asking this tool can only be used with master database. Okay. So as I told in the starting that for doing all the configuration related thing, we need to connect with the master database, right? That's why it is asking to connect to master database. And here we need to acquire a lock. So let me minimize it. It is not showing properly. So we have acquired a lock. Now you can click on this plus. Okay. And plus whatever database you have, just select Oracle, service, and we have to pass all the details. So like here I can pass any display name, we can pass as per our requirement. Machine identifier is take by default, and localhost, here the host name is localhost. Service is ORCL. Port is 152N. This one is also ORCL. And the schema name, a schema name is username. Okay, dev_ORS. Password is also dev_ORS. All the details which we passed last time, this one we can leave. This is only for masking and for extra security. So let's, and here from here we can test the connection, like all the details are fine or not. Okay. So here you can see everything is fine and connection is succeeding. That means now we can click on finish. And now it is registering this database in the metadata table. So now this database is ready for use. Okay. So if you click here, okay. So basically here I have connected with Ravi user. Let me switch with admin. Yeah. So now see we have this all database available. Okay. So we can connect to this dev ORS, and this all will be reflected here. We don't have any object here. See, it's complete fresh database. Okay. So by this way we can create the ORS. Okay. Now you guys can do I think for this you will not have any access. So just you can keep a note of this kind of steps. All the steps will be available in the notes. I will maintain there. So whenever needed, you can just follow the steps and you can do that in your project. So that's a very simple. Okay, just you have to follow the step. So we understood how to create the ORS. So likewise, how we created dev ORS, in the same way we can create QA ORS for prod ORS. In number of ORS we can create with the help of same step. Okay. Now we can move, like if you have created the ORS and you need to create some user, right? Suppose some developer has joined in the project who want to work in this development environment. So we need to give some kind of we need to create user and we need to give some role, right? So how to create user? That's a very simple here. You have to come to users. Again, you have to connect to master database. And here you have to acquire a log. And for user, just here you click on plus. So just you type dev user underscore one. Okay. Last name we need to give. So last name I am giving the suppose dev. And here by default it will take name like that, na user ID. So this user ID will be used for login. So I am taking dev underscore user one. This will be our login user ID. And where I want to create on this database. Password I want to give same here also. Here this external authentication, like if you want to apply SSO and also for that you need to do the extra kind of configuration, and MDM will provide the extra file. So after that you can do SSA also. Press okay. So this user is created, we can see now. From here you can change the password, you can reset the password. We have lots of option. Okay, you have lots of option to do the password expiry, password length, and also you can control the password configuration from here also. Here it is, we have the target database. So whatever user we have created, this user dev underscore user, you want to give this user access to connect with which databases. So suppose here you have keyway, here you have fraud. So you have to bind that user accordingly. Here, if you want to assign a user here, so just click here and you have to select that. Okay. So that user can connect to training also. Okay. So if you want to give access to sample, you can just select here or here. So respective user will have the respective database access. And here we have the password global policy, na? Like minimum length, maximum length, or restrictions or expiry. This all you can manage from here. So this password is for user password. Okay. So first need to create user from here. Then you have to map user and database, user and ORS here. So already we have, if you expand this, na, here you can see. So for this dev ORS, admin will be by default, and dev user one is also having the access. For training, admin is by default, Ravi Singh also have, and dev user also have. Okay. For sample, only admin is there. Na? So accordingly, you can add, you can see like on this database or on this ORS, which users can are able to log in or which can access. Okay. So from here, you can do this. Now, after creating the user, here we have to come. After creating roles and assigning user, don't for. So first we need to create user. Create user. Okay. Then second, assign role. Assign, no, not assign role. Assign database, assign ORS basically to user. This we have already done. Okay. Third, we have to assign, give tool access. Then we have to give tool access. Tool access is what I will tell you. What is tool access? So basically in MDM, these all are different tool. Okay, these all are different tool. Within a model workbench, this all is a different tool. Okay. So you want that this particular dev user should not have access of this data steward or this admin tools or these tools. So you can restrict that. How we can restrict that? Let's go. So here you have to come to tool access. Okay. So in tool access, just click on dev user. You want to give tool access. So here, suppose I want to give only kind of this tool access to this user. So this tool access, it can only access this model part, like a schema, this, that, like it can only do the development. And for development, you need kind of that workbench also for running the job and all, right? So we want to give this access. So once we log in with this user, we will see only this two section. Let's try to do that. So already we have given. Now let's switch user. So we can, from where you can switch user? From here, okay, bottom. Now let's try to log in with user one, dev user one. Let's see what we can see. So what is he saying? You entered the user name or password that's not a valid. Okay. So I think I have entered the wrong username and password. Oh, sorry, it got disconnected. So let me open it again. So let's try to use dev underscore user one. User one. This was our user, right? Why it is not able to connect? I'm not understanding. Let's take admin. Let's check the username, what username actually basically it has taken in the system. Let's connect to dev ORS because we have created that user in user always will be available from the master. Okay. So here what username we have created, let's see that. So dev user, let's read this. So first name this, last name this. Oh, see. So in username now we had actually edited that, but by default it taken the user one underscore D. Sorry, dev user one a D. Okay, so we have to use this user basically for login. So that let's try to remove this from here if we are able to do that. I'm trying to save it. Release lock, acquire lock. Okay. So again, it is coming. So we cannot actually rename. So basically, we have to drop and recreate. That is fine. So in place of that, we can use this user ID for login. So let me log in with this user ID. Why is it a problem? Consultant Informatica Hub admin information username password is not valid. Okay, password. I think we have taken only password. We have taken only till user one. Looks like. Okay. So basically, for this user now. Username was this dev underscore user one D. This was username. This was username and password was dev underscore user one. Only till this, no D. Okay. So this you can take as per your requirement, whatever you want. So okay. So let's connect to dev ORS. And let's see, here we can see only these two sections for this user. Okay, because we had only given access for these two sections, that this developer should only have access for this model and this utility, like it can develop the data model and all, and he can run the job and he can see. Okay, so accordingly you can restrict all the tools. Okay, like which tools he want to have the access or not, you can do this restriction with the help of that tool access. Okay, now let's again go to admin to do some more change. So here we saw that how we can give the tool access. So just you can click on the user and you can give this all tool access required. Okay. Also, you can handle the processes, like some of the processes, if you want to kind of restrict that, you can restrict. Okay. So this is how we give the tool access to user after creation. Now, here we have created the user like this, and then we have assigned the ORS, then we have given the tool access. Okay, now after giving the tool access, we need to create the role. Let's create the role. Okay, and then map role to user. Why we need role? Because in development also, suppose there is a production environment. Okay, so in production environment there will be a different user who will have the different role. Some user will have to do some kind of change also in production if some emergency fix is coming in case of some emergency bug, or some user can only have to run the system, can monitor the system, right? So accordingly we have to create different roles so that we can give the different role to different user. Okay, so how we can create the role? We understand how to create user, how to map that user with the database, and then how to give the tool access, that also we saw. Now let's see how to create role. Okay, and then we'll see how to map that role. So for creating the role, you need to come here. You need to come this SAM that we call security access manager, and then come to role. Okay, for this also you have to connect to master database CMX system. This tool cannot be used with the master database. Select another database. Okay, so this actually role we are going to create in some kind of working database, right? That's why this we have to create in a specific database. This role will not be used by all the database, right? So for dev, we will create role in dev. For QA, we'll create role in QA. That's why it is asking that don't create a role from master database. Try to create role from the specific database. So we have selected the dev ORS. Here, take a right click, add a role. Okay. So suppose here we want to create a role of data steward who can view the data and who can make a small change. So we are creating the role like that. You can create a manager role, you can create developer role, you can create a tester role, right? And here after creating the role, we will get this all the options. Okay. So this option is basically saying that, see, basically we have not created any object within this dev ORS, right? That's why we are not able to see any objects here. We are only able to see kind of category of objects. So let's create some base object here for just doing the POC, like b underscore customer table. Okay. So we don't have any object because this is a fresh ORS. So we have created base object. Let's add some column also, like customer ID, then customer name. Save it. So we have some base object created. Let's create one more base subject that is called address. B underscore address. Let's add some column. ADR ID, city. Okay, so now if you go to role here, and if you click on your role, let's take a right look. It should show the objects. See, now it is showing now. So now after once you will have some object na, then that object will reflect here. So this object is basically base object. That's why it is showing base object. If you will have clean functions or kind of hierarchy manager, mappings, package, na, so this all will show. Whatever things you will have, this all will show here like that. Okay. And accordingly on the specific object also you can define a role. Like I want the data steward should have all the access of read, write, update, delete, merge, execute. No need execute because your data steward will not execute, right? Data steward can read, create, update, this all option, delete also, and merge also, because we see from data steward tool that data steward can create, update, merge, and merge, all action can do, right? But no need to execute a job. Okay, so no need to give execute privilege for that. Let's save it. So suppose we have created a role. Okay, now we need to bind that role with the user. Okay, so how we can bind that role with the user? So for that you have to come here, and here you can see report. Okay, in report if you generate, so here you can see this is a resource name, this is a base object name, this is a CB address. So we had given this role on address or customer. Let me check it. Oh, sorry. So we have given on address, na? That's fine. We have not given any role on customer. Okay. So if you come in report, so this is saying on CB address, data steward have all this access on all these columns. Even you can control the access on the column also. Okay. So once you define the role, then it will give you a report like that. So you can just save the report and you can share, or just you can read it in a nice way. Okay. So that means here you can control the security on the basis of object and also on the basis of column also. Here you can say. Okay. So now after creating the role, how even if you have other roles also, you can take the roles from here. Okay. So if you have the role, then how we can map that role with user? You have to come here, user and role. Okay. And here you have to click plus user assigned to database. So here you can see this is a dev ORS. So in dev ORS, which user are assigned? So this user is assigned that we can find. assign user group to role. Okay, here we have this role, right? Data steward role. So here we have to take right lock, privilege lock, require lock. Just I'm refreshing it. So here in data steward, here you can click on this edit option, and we can give attach these two user with this role. Okay, admin user also and dev user also. So that means dev user now will have this role after this mapping. Okay, so we have to do user and role mapping here. Here the same reverse thing. So this user have this role. Okay, so suppose you have created multiple role, so you can add that role from here. So here it is only showing data steward. If you have manager, developer, tester role, so you can select the roles and that role will be applied to this user. Okay, so either you can do from here or you can do from here. That's okay. The same thing will happen. So we have created a role. We have binded the role with this user. And if you now re-log in with a dev user with this user ID, let's connect to dev ORS. Okay, so we have given a very limited tool access of this. So see here, this user is only able to see this address, and it will be able to see all the available object, but it will not be able to do any action. Okay, so for that, what we need to do now, we have to actually we have created a role and other things from which user, admin user. So here, if you see in a step, after creating role and assigning user, don't forget to validate ORS from repository manager. Okay, so how to validate ORS from repository manager, just I will show you. So first we have to connect with admin. A small, let me connect to dev ORS with admin user, and then we have to validate. Okay, how to validate? We have to come to repository manager, connect to master database, and select your ORS, dev ORS. Okay, and if you come here, then here we are getting option of validate. Okay, and you have to click here, validate. So now it will just do kind of compilation. If it will have any error or warning, we can able to see here. And if you don't have anything, then we will not be able to see anything. So I will come to this repository manager after this, and we will see all the options. So this green signals, you can see the tick signal, tick green. That means everything is fine. We don't have any warning. We don't have any kind of errors. So that means our ORS is fine. It's got validated. Okay. And let's check here that we have created a role also. So within this, we have created role. We have assigned the users also. That is fine. Now let's try to connect with this user. Now let's go to model, schema. So here now we are able to see. So here actually we cannot see users and all details, because we understand this is a developer and this developer should not have other access. So see whatever access we have given for this B address and all. So if you will try to create package and all, and you try to create record and all, so that will be succeeded on address, because we have given the access for address, but it will not succeed on customer. Okay, because we have not given any kind of role to for customer table. So by this way, you can create a role, you can map the object, and then you can do the validation of the ORS, so that that role will be applied to particular user. Okay, now let's switch back to admin. So in real-time project, that all will take, these things will be taken care by MDM admin. But in a small project, maybe as a developer, if you have to work, then you should know this all the thing. Okay, so now we saw this how to create these roles and users. Okay, now let's come here again back. So we saw database users. Here is security provider. Okay, for that needs to connect to master database. So here this security provider is a kind of additional security if you need for login. Okay, so here just we are clicking on user and we are passing username and password and we are logging. But in production, if you want the additional security like two-step verification and all. So that configuration you can do from here. For that Informatica will provide a kind of a separate additional file for that configuration, and the admin will do all the configuration so that we will have the additional security at the time of login. Let me open it, admin. So dev ORS. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, here we saw this is for additional security. If you want to apply for login now, then we can configure it, and for this we have to request Informatica to provide all additional files which is needed. This tool access we saw already. For respective user we can control the tool, and here this message queue. So message queue we will spend one complete class for this in a coming class. Here we have one important thing, that is repository manager. Okay. So this repository manager will help us to do the kind of deployment. Okay. So suppose you want to do some deployment from one environment to other environment, then how we can do? Yeah. Okay. So this is deployment and migration part. So first in repository manager, if you want to do deployment or other things, you have to validate the ORS. Okay. So suppose we have created some customer table in dev ORS, right? And we want to migrate to training ORS. Okay. Then how we can do that? So first you have to validate the ORS, and since training we have created lots of things, so I think it will not be kind of valid. If you will validate now, it will show some error. Let's try to validate this training. So both the ORS should be kind of valid before doing any kind of migration or any deploying any change. So I'm just validating this training ORS. So see here we have 4 errors. Okay, because we had created PRL table and it was failing due to that online indicator, and also we have to drop those tables in backend, then this will be fixed. So let's ignore this for time being. What we will do for doing the migration, let's take this dev ORS because this is fine, this is validated. And now we can go to promote section. Okay, in promote we have 2 options. This is source and this is target. Okay, like you want to promote from where to where. This is saying you want to promote from source which location to target which location. Okay, so in source I'm just selecting suppose dev ORS. Okay, so whatever objects will be there in dev ORS, it will show here. Okay, so this is a table, these are columns. Now this is showing. In target it is showing you want to kind of migrate where. So see in the training it is showing cross signal because while validating it had some error. Okay, so we will not be able to migrate to training. Okay, so what we can do, we can let me try to select sample. Okay, sample we have not actually configured properly. So we will do one thing. So apart in source now, we can do one thing. Either we can select database or we can select the file repository. So when file repository will be used, means in which cases this file repository will be used. So file repository basically will be used once we do kind of take a dump from one environment and we want to push that dump to the other environment. Okay, in that case this file repository will be useful. So what we can do, let's take the dump of this. So for that I want to take the dump of dev ORS, and then we will make some change in dev, and then that change we will try to deploy in dev itself. Okay, so how we can take the dump or export? You can come here, you can select dev ORS. Let me take the export, come to desktop, dev_ORS. Okay, so let's take the dump of this, export. So suppose before making any change we have taken the dump. Okay, now after making the change, then we'll try to migrate that change in the dev ORS, right? So we have taken the dump. Now let's come to dev ORS. Dev ORS, and sorry, dev ORS already we have. So here we have to create some objects so that we can see the change. So what I'm doing, just I'm adding one column here. Site log. So in customer name, I'm adding like cust mobile number. Okay, cust mobile number I'm adding. Suppose we are doing some change, and here also in address also we want to add some columns like CT ADR line 1. Some column we have added. Okay, so now we will be able to see some change, because before making this change I have already taken the dump of this, right? So now we have made some change, and this change we want to deploy in dev ORS. How we can do that? So this is same like we want to deploy things from dev to QA. Okay, so we don't have enough kind of ORS available for that. So what we are doing, we have taken the dump before making any change. That dump is available here. That dump is basically this dev ORS. Where is that? Yeah, dev ORS, this one. Okay. Now you can come to repository manager, connect to master database, and validation already we have done this for this. Okay, so after making change again we have to do the validation. So we should have the green signal here. Okay, until we don't have, we should not do promotion. So after making any change, if you want to do promotion or kind of deployment, you have to make sure that validate the repository. Okay, so validation is successful. We should not have error. Warning is fine. Warning we can take, but error should not be there. Like here we have errors, so we cannot proceed. Okay, we have to first fix up these errors, then we'll be able to proceed. So in dev we are fine. So now we can come to promote. In promote you can come to source. Source, what we are going to select? Source, suppose I'm taking dev ORS. Okay, so basically, so in source I don't want to take dev ORS. What I want, what we need to do, because we have taken some dump, so that is before change, and this dump is after change. Okay, so what we need to do, before change, that means that source object needs to deploy in the target. Okay, so that, let me try to take that file repository which we have taken the dump here, this dev ORS. Okay, so either we can select the ORS if you have here, or you can select the file also. Press OK. So after selecting the files, here you can expand and you can see what details you had. So earlier we had these columns only. Okay, that is fine. Now in target, if I am selecting this dev ORS, let's see what it is coming. So now it is able to identify some change. This some colorful thing is coming. That means there is some change in that. Okay. See here in match merge, we are not getting this color. So we are getting this color in this column section itself, right? That means here you can see the change. So the green means this field has been added. Okay, that's why you are getting green. So by this way we can see kind of change list, like what changes have been done. See here we are getting green. That means something has been added in this. Okay, so we have two options to deploy these changes. Either we can deploy one by one, or we can create a change list here. So how to create change list? You can come to dev ORS and then select the file, create a new change list by comparing two repository. Okay, so here I'm selecting a file which I already taken a dump. I want to compare these two, and then I want to create a change list. So it is saying this change list, it is showing. Why? Delete column this from this. So I am comparing dev ORS which I have taken dump and the current ORS. So for syncing these two, it is saying that we have to delete these columns from this so that it can go to the previous stage. Okay. Now, if you see in visual, so in visual it will show like that. So if you want to sync kind of this object to this, then this additional column need to be deleted, right? So that it can change. Else, if you have correctly added the columns, like you have correctly added these columns here, and you want to promote these columns to target, then you have to select this in reverse way. That means what we need to do in source, we have to select this dev ORS. Suppose in source we have dev ORS like this, and in target we should have option to select this file also, right? Require log. So in source, let me select this file repository, not file repository, database. For this database change I want to deploy, right? So, and in target here we should also get this option to select the file repository. Why am I not getting? No, not understand. Let me refresh. So in target also you can select the file repository and all. Here in source we have two options, right? So like that in target also we should get the file repository option. So in source what I want to migrate this change from suppose one ORS to other ORS. So either you can select the ORS or either you can select the file list. Okay. So for that, actually our other ORS is not in valid state. Either we can create a new ORS or we can just create the change list. So for change list, it is asking, let me see here, load the change list from a file. So this change list we have to load if we have saved somewhere, a schema viewer. And basically this, if we are selecting now, then what it is doing, it is actually comparing the current object with the last one. So that means it is saying that means we have to sync this current object with the last dump taken. That means whatever additional things we have created, so that will be synced on the basis of this. So for example, let's take this example only, like suppose by mistake we have added something and we want to sync. Okay, then how we can sync? So for that, here I need to select file repository before change option, and then I want to sync that thing with the current ORS. So columns and CP address columns. Okay, so here we can see some change. Okay, so let's apply that change. How to apply? So apply this change. Okay, so let's take full rollback option. So now this is applying the change. A change list is not created. Generate a change list to and then save. Okay. Just a minute. Previous conflict, this conflict. View the markup. Promote. Okay, this is a promote section. So no object selected. So let's try to select this object from here and this object from here. Let's try to promote these two objects. Replace the target object. Use the target value as the final result for conflicts. So manually merge the conflicts. Let's try to manually merge if we are getting some option. So objects to be updated, objects to be removed. See if that object is removed or not in the column. Still, why this is not applying? Actually, this should be deleted. So for this, actually, this we can only use if you have the change list. So let's create the change list first. Like last time we get some change list, right? So let me create change list so that we can apply. Actually, this would be easy if you have other one more ORS like TV ORS. No, then we can easily do that. But we don't have two ORS in valid state. That's why we are facing this. So see here we are getting this change list. Okay, let's try to save this change list first, or from here we can apply the change list accordingly. Like if you want to apply this change list in address, let's try to apply this. Validate data integrity, yes. We don't have any data, so nothing to worry. So executing this, the changes were applied successfully. Okay. Now we had added some column here, right? So let's see which column was deleted or not. See, now those columns has been deleted from here also, and those columns has been deleted from here also. Okay, that means whatever additional changes we had done, that is now syncing properly with the previous change, before change. Okay, and if we would have two ORS now, then it would be more easy to do the kind of deployment. We can select source ORS in dev and target ORS QA, and we can easily create a change list. So before making any change, we can create a change list here, and then that change list we can just click this signal so that that change list can apply. So this is a way to promote the object, and this import and export is actually basically this helpful once we do first time kind of deployment. Okay, so suppose we have done our development and we want to deploy all the artifacts in the QA for first time. Then we will import all the artifacts for first time. Then we will export all the artifacts for first time. Sorry, first we will take the export, and then we will import that artifacts in QA. Okay, so this is for first time. But if you are doing incremental change, then for incremental change you always have to use this option. Okay, promote option. Here either you can do visually, you can see which objects got changed, and that object only you can apply that change, or else you can create a change list and in change list it will have 100, 200 or 500 kind of changes, and that you can deploy in one shot. Okay, so that we can do. And this option export CWM file, and this is basically common CWM is common warehouse model file. Okay, so suppose you have created some kind of data model through the external tool, and that file format is suppose CWM file, then that file also you can to export import here. So suppose you want to take the export of this CWM file first, like if you take a right log here. So here we don't have any kind of data model, that's why here we are not able to see. But if you have some CWM file from third-party tool, which is a data modeling tool, then that also you can integrate here, you can export import here. Okay, so basically in real time, this one we use for first time, and this one promote we use always for all the incremental change. So whenever we make change on a weekly basis or monthly basis, we come here, we create our change list, and then we deploy accordingly. Okay, so that's why repository manager is very helpful for a kind of developers or for kind of admin also. So till now, if you guys have any question, please ask.
Yeah, Abhishek, I think you already covered most of the migration part, and just I want to check few things about the check-in, check-out. Say for example, we are doing the same environment at multiple, how we can do the check-in and check-out. I've not seen the check-in, check-out option over there.
Check-in, see here we have two options. Okay, so here, sorry, let me release log. So here we have this acquire log and acquire exclusive log. Okay, so this is basically kind of check-in, check-out. That means if suppose 5 users are there in development, okay, and all user is connected with suppose this dev ORS. Let me connect to this dev ORS. So all user 5 developer will connect to dev ORS, and all can do the acquire log. If they are doing acquire log, that means all user can make a change parallelly on this dev ORS. Okay, but if any one user is doing the acquire exclusive log, then all other user can only read the information, they cannot make change in parallel. Okay, so we have these two options to restrict that. What we do in development, we always take the in development we always take acquire log so that all people can work in parallel. Okay, but in production, if we do migration or kind of hot fix or kind of emergency change, we always acquire a exclusive log so that other people cannot make any change. So we have these two options. After making the exclusive, after taking the exclusive log, then you can release the log so that it will be available for others. So if you feel that what changes I am making in dev or the environment, other people should not make any change, then you take exclusive log, you make the change, then you release your log.
Okay.
na? So that other
Yes.
people can start working. So this is option we have here.
And second, how we are going to maintaining the versioning?
Versioning option here we don't have in Informatica MDM. It's like in Power Center and all, we have versioning option. So what we do, we use the third-party versioning tool, like we use a Git repository and all. So whenever we take export and import, so there the version will be stored as a backup. So within this tool, we don't have that any facility for maintaining the version. So we can use any third-party tool for maintaining that.
Okay, fine. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So I have only one small item left for today, that is enterprise manager. So okay. So this is nothing but it's a kind of all the artifacts will be shown here. Artifacts in the sense all the installation part. Okay. So once you do all the installation, then all the things will be reflected here, like installation directory, which database you are using. You are using Oracle database, which application server you are using, JBoss, port detail and all. So whatever installation directory, installation detail, application detail, all will be available in the enterprise manager. So this is basically just for read only purpose. Okay, we cannot do anything here. You can see version history. Okay, so this version history for the application, not for the object. Okay, like base object 1, if I will change 5 times, then we should have 5 version of base object. So that is not possible here. But yes, this version history is, suppose this is 10.1. Suppose after 1 month I am upgrading to 10.4. Na? So now down of this, it will show 10.4. After 10.4, I am upgrading 10.5. Okay. So all this version history of the application will show here. So this is a fresh installation of 10.1. That's why it is showing 10.1. Okay. If you do upgrade, then all the version history will show here. So these two is important, properties and version history. Then we will have process server details, like database details in a separate kind of tab, like ORS, what ORS you have. For this dev ORS, what details you use now, what details you had taken. So these all things you can see. So this is basically kind of environment details. It will give all at one place in the enterprise manager. Okay. So in enterprise manager, this all environment details will get at one place. So this is just for read only purpose. So today, this is the end of our class. Tomorrow we'll cover the other things. So let me stop the recording for today.